So we have the peasant class rebelling all across Europe against the latest developments of the enslavement agenda. After the Green Revolution, we have the GMOs, genetically modified organisms that were imposed to farmers, and that was the next step in the complete takeover of the food production processes and practices, so that the corporate system could have total control over every aspect of food, from its production to its distribution, and every step of the distribution process. So what we are seeing now is the development of a new part of this agenda of total control, which is an attempt to phase out food production as we knew it. In Europe, the rebellion that is going on is the rebellion of relatively small scale family type units of farming units, which are being pushed to extinction by the programs being imposed by the European Union and the corporate machinery that is behind the European Union and coupled with the European Union. So these guys, they've been imposed that model of hyper-intensive agriculture, hyper-intensive farming, and heavily chemical kind of farming, heavily machine-like kind of farming, where nature is basically reduced to production units. Nature is seen as a factory, and there is no cooperation with nature. There is only enslavement and imposition, which was kind of present again since the beginning of what is nowadays called agriculture, but it's much more prominent and emphasized now. You see that the narrative of anthropocentric and anthropo-generated, human-generated climate change is being used, and the how do you say that in English? Diabolization? No, you don't see that. You don't say that. What's the word? When you make something look evil, the vilification, the vilification of carbon dioxide, the gas of life, and of carbon, which life on this planet is based on. Now we must decarbonize everything. Decarbonate. We must decarbonate. So that means that humans have to go. They have to go because they are a carbon-based life form. Bastards. And these horrible humans. And carbon dioxide, without which there is no plant life possible, hence no animal life, hence no human life. Yeah, carbon dioxide is really evil. It's really evil. And you know what produces carbon dioxide? Well, these fucking cows. These evil cows who are farting, and with their farts they are amplifying the greenhouse effect that is making the oceans boil. Horrible. So cattle has to be phased out. You see, cattle has to be phased out, and we have to transition to a plant-based diet. And that's a narrative that we've been hearing for years now, for years. And it's coming from the World Economic Forum, of course, and other instances as well. And it's being pushed. And one of the ways they're trying to impose it is by demanding that all of the flocks be vaccinated. I wonder what's behind that idea. And also, every time there is a disease outbreak that is very easily to manufacture via certain injectable products, for instance, that are being imposed onto the farming world. Well, every time there is a disease outbreak, the technical name for it being epizootic, every time that happens, well, the entire flock must be slaughtered. And because, you know, it's terribly, these diseases, they're contagious, they're gonna spread to an entire area. Well, you need to slaughter all the flocks of animals, farm animals in that entire area as well. Even if there hasn't been a single case of disease, other than a very specific, how do you call that in English? Very specific point of outbreak. Yeah, you must prevent disease spreading, you know, you must prevent the spread, because you don't want these flocks to become super spreaders. So this is all part of that same strategy to phase out meat, basically, and to replace traditional meat that comes from animal with synthetic meat, artificially grown and produced in labs. Bill Gates being a big investor in synthetic meat, you know, it's Beyond Meat is one of the most famous names in these companies that are currently developing that sort of activity. Now, here's a prediction. Here is a prediction. The phasing out of meat is just one step. It's just one step, because if they are successful in their elimination of meat as a product of farming, the next step will be to phase out plant growing, because all of a sudden it will be realized that that involves so much pollution. And these farmers, you know, they are producing so much carbon and so much carbon dioxide. We cannot have that. So the production of vegetables, produce, fruit trees, that's going to be phased out as well. So we can go to a fully synthetic way of producing food. And it already exists, by the way. A 3D printing of food already exists. And I've heard from someone who's been at a high-end Business Insider meeting where 3D printed food was being served to the participants. That individual said that in terms of taste and texture, it was impossible to differentiate that 3D printed food with from regular food. So you see they they are well advanced. They are well advanced, and you can see that this is already presented in fiction through TV series like Upload, which you can watch on Amazon Prime, where people are used to eat food from their 3D printer, and quote-unquote natural food is reserved for the elite, for wealthy people. Now, putting all of humanity on a synthetic diet, there are aspects behind that I will discuss in another video.